Okay.
All right, welcome everyone. It is Tuesday, July 1st, 2025. Welcome to another episode of the He Said, She Said Sports Talk Podcast. We are your hosts. I'm Big Red. This is Tony. Hello, Tony. How are you?
Good morning. How are you?
I'm doing good, good. Early morning. It's a little early for us, but it's all good. Little adjustment. Yeah, we got some news this week in sports as far as the NFL goes. There was a trade between the Dolphins and the Steelers. Steelers have been active lately. There was a trade where Minka Fitzpatrick left the Steelers to go back to the Dolphins. And then the Steelers received Jalen Ramsey and the tight end, I'm not remembering his name, Jonas Smith. Yeah. And the Dolphins also receive a fifth round pick. So who do you think won that draft? Won that trade, and how do you think it's better? Who do you think is better for as far as future wise?
Yeah, who won the trade? In my opinion, the Dolphins. But like it just I see what the Steelers are thinking, kind of, but I don't totally understand this trade. And at first I believe it was supposed to be just a player for player trade, which is
Uh-huh.
kind of insane. The Dolphins then received a couple more things, but it just it was clear that Ramsey wasn't going to be on the Dolphins again. So for the Steelers to take on that much of a cap hit with Ramsey's contract and all of that, and he's 30, which is, and I feel like personally, I just feel like he's considered to be on the decline.
Yeah,
Um,
he definitely is.
I don't like saying that about people, but like, let's just
Yeah, yeah. Keep it
put it out
funky. Keep
there.
it real.
I mean, last season, I think he allowed like 0.9 yards per coverage snap.
Hmm.
Next gen. So I it just he mostly played outside corner. I'm not sure that that's where they're going to play him on the Steelers. With now not having Minka, you're probably looking at some sort of hybrid nickel safety role for Ramsey. I don't think that he can cover T. Higgins or Jamar Chase, which is, in my opinion, what this trade was supposed to be for. Um,
Uh-huh.
and I have a feeling that they'll be playing a lot of tight ends this year because they don't have a ton of depth in the receiver room at this point. And maybe they're just trying to eke out one more shot at the playoffs in this TJ Watt, Cam Hayward era, if they can keep TJ Watt. The Steelers are just very confusing right now.
Well, apparently, I saw interview Darius Slay had. He's a former Eagle now with the Steelers. Um, he was in an interview saying that when he talked to Mike Tomlin about coming there, that they were talking about going on a run. This is what he spoke of. But so I guess they're trying to load up to go on a run. I guess he's saying Aaron Rodgers is looking good as well. I know they're not in pads, but he's saying Aaron Rodgers is slinging it out there. Um,
From the
I think
videos
the
I've seen, I
Dolphins.
don't even think he's moving that well.
Yeah, trust me, we spoke on this Aaron Rodgers thing a thousand times. You know how I feel about it. I don't think he was it to, obviously this was going to be his last year for a reason, but I don't think he was the pick for them to excel the Super Bowl for sure. But I think the Dolphins won this pick 100% because you get a guy like Minka who's still in his prime for real. And he's a dog player for real. You get him back on a defense that's pretty good up front. That so they were lacking in the defensive backfield, and having Minka back in Miami is big. Like you said, Jalen Ramsey is kind of on the decline. Is he a decent, good player? Yes. He'll help out a lot. It'll be a good teaching tool for guys like Joey Porter, young Joey Porter Jr. At the corner spot. Yes, Jonas Smith is a decent tight end for sure, but I mean, I don't think it was worth trading Minka over for
I don't think
sure.
it was worth trading Minka over, but I do think Jonnu Smith is at his peak right now. And so that's actually a great acquisition for the Steelers. And
Yeah.
you can play multiple tight ends at once. Um, I mean, I'm pretty sure that he worked with Arthur Smith, the Steelers offensive coordinator, before in Tennessee. Correct me
Yeah,
if
yeah.
I'm wrong.
Uh-huh.
So they have some kind of chemistry already built up there. You can play multiple tight ends at once with Fryermuth, Darnell Washington, Johnny Smith. You've got some depth now in the tight end spot.
Yeah.
Kind of makes up for the lack of depth in your receiver spot. But it does seem like they're trying to plug away at certain at certain defensive holes that they have, but then giving up Minka doesn't make sense. So
Yeah.
I just don't know. It looks like everybody's searching for a solution to the T. Higgins, Jamar Chase situation, in my opinion. And
You
that could
think
be my
they you
opinion as
think
a
that
Bengals fan. But it looks like everybody wants to. I mean, you see the Ravens loading up on defense players too. So
yeah. Like I said, the Darius picking up Darius Slay, and Jalen Ramsey, like I said, they're good corners that have been in the league for a while for sure, but they are definitely corners that are on the decline. They bring depth, they bring experience. Obviously, they're veterans, so I don't know. You never know what you're going to get out of them, but I just don't think it's enough when it comes to the division for sure. But we'll see. But shout out to the Dolphins. They definitely won. Minka was drafted by the Dolphins, so he's going back to the team that drafted him back to Miami.
I'm actually
So,
pretty sure I remember very vividly Jamar Chase absolutely cooking Jalen Ramsey in his rookie season. And he's coming off of a triple crown season. So,
shots fired already. It's early. It's early. Chill, Tony. It's early.
dang, I wouldn't play him at corner there.
No, 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 for sure. But no, I mean, big trade. Let's see how it works out for those two teams. The Dolphins also got like a fifth round pick in that trade as well. So we'll see who they get out of that. In other news in the NFL, the kicker, former Baltimore Ravens kicker, Justin Tucker, has been suspended by the NFL for the first 10 games for violating the NFL's personal conduct policy. He doesn't have a roster right now. He's not on the team. Nobody has picked him up. Uh, do you think this is it for him? Or do you think after the 10-game suspension, a team will pick him up? Maybe if a team is struggling at kicker, will a team pick him up?
I would love to say that the NFL teams would take what is going on with Justin Tucker into consideration, but if they have a kicker that's struggling or if they have a kicker that gets injured, I can absolutely see them testing out Tuck, at least signing him to, something. Um,
Mm.
he was once a fantastic
Yes, great.
like
Hall of
Hall
Fame.
of Fame level kicker.
Yes, for
What we
sure.
last season was a rapid decline, but it could have just been an off season. He obviously had a lot going on.
Yeah, he did.
So it could have just been, a blip, an off season, whatever you want to call it. So I can see teams potentially taking that chance if the need is there. But I hope that this 10-game suspension was the NFL's way of saying, like, you're not on a team, you're suspended. Maybe people will just
Yeah,
forget
push him out
about
the door.
you.
I
But
hope teams don't want to bring him in to deal with it,
yeah,
deal with all of
I
that.
think they want this news gone. I think they want him off of their news pages and not linked to them right now. And when the dust settles, ultimately the NFL is a win first league.
Hmm.
The other stuff later.
Yeah,
It would not surprise me. It would not shock me if a team picked him up at some point this season.
yeah, no, definitely. Yeah, I mean, it's definitely has to do with the charges that are he was charged with, or apparently charged with, or whatever. But like I said, Justin Tucker, he was a great kicker. Obviously, we mentioned he had a pretty much a Hall of Fame career, one of the highest field goal percentage and kickers in the history of the game. You know, for a second there, he had one of the longest field goals in NFL history. But yeah, no, there's no doubt he's a great player as far as his job being a kicker. Um, the suspension was granted. I mean, obviously, I don't blame the NFL for the length of the suspension because it definitely could have been longer. They could have gave him a whole year, like they did to Sean Watson. Um, but definitely, I think if a team is struggling and is in need of a kicker when he's done with those 10 games, I think that a team might come calling depending on circumstances or situation of the team for sure. So I won't count him quite out as being done, but I mean, it's definitely on the brink. If he doesn't get picked up by a team this year, I think it's a wrap for sure. You
Yeah.
know, definitely. Um, let's talk NBA. There was an NBA draft that happened
Yeah.
this past week. We all knew who was going to go number one, and he went number one. Cooper Flag out of Duke, signing with Dallas. You know, both Dallas teams having number one picks, getting Page and Cooper. You know, the cornerstone of that city. It looks pretty good for Dallas teams. How do you feel about the draft?
Yeah, I mean, look, Cooper Flag was not a surprise. Seems like a great kid. Excited to see what he does in the league. It always shocks me how young these guys are when they enter the league, but I do love the mentality of, if I'm the best player here, I got to go find somewhere else where I'm not the best player. Uh,
Yeah,
and that's definitely a mentality that I resonate with and I enjoy. So I'm excited to see what Cooper Flag is able to do in Dallas and what Dallas is able to do with their situation now. Um, as for the overall the draft, I wasn't super surprised by too much. Um, I would say of all of the teams, I actually think the Charlotte Hornets had the best draft class as a whole overall. Uh,
yeah,
because I mean, I like the additions of Con Kneppel, Ryan Kalkbrenner, um, McNeely. Those were all good additions. I think specifically Kneppel, when he plays alongside, like you got LaMelo Ball, Brandon Miller, I think he complements them really well.
yeah, really well. You're
That,
right.
like his style of play, it's very selfless, very very tenacious, tough. Like I'm a huge fan of his and I'm not surprised that he went in the top 5 and I think that's, a great spot for him.
Uh huh.
A good landing spot. And Kalkbrenner, plug and play big, great pickup for them. Um and on a cheap rookie deal. So that was probably my favorite draft class, I think, as a whole. I don't know. What about you?
As far as uh, I got a few players that I liked where they some spots they went.
Yeah.
Derek Queen, the big man from Maryland, he went to Atlanta, which I feel like it's perfect for Atlanta. They need some good, tough bigs down there to complement their guard play. I feel like that was huge. Also, Ace Bailey
I was
dropping
going
the
to say this. Yes.
dropping 5 to Utah was, I mean, great place for him. I know they were saying like there was like some speculation he didn't want to play at Utah or who wasn't going to.
Yeah, I think it's kind of a hot take for us to be liking where he's at. I think more and more as the dust is settled, people are starting to realize like this is a really good spot for him. But what
Mhm.
happened, I know there was all this drama with his agent allegedly like threatening top 5 teams to take him and that his preferred draft destination was Washington and
Yeah,
he didn't want to go to Utah. But if you really truly think about it, I mean, this is an ample opportunity in a situation that has a lack of star power, a great coaching staff, passionate
yep,
fans, and it is like the perfect place for him to
yeah.
go even achieve like all-star potential, right? Like
Hmm.
can be the face of a team. And I do think that's something that he should want, and that it's something that sounds like he would want. So I think I totally agree. It's a great spot for him.
Yeah, it's a great spot for him. I really like the fact that I like Ace Bailey. He's a nice player for sure. He's got the potential to develop in the special player if he puts the work in for sure. So I mean that was a great spot. As far as teams that I like the draft, I liked Orlando's draft as far as the pieces, some of the pieces they picked up in the trade as well. Um, we know they just picked up a few guys in the trade, but Jason Richardson's son, they picked him up from Michigan State. I liked him, and then Amari Williams, the big from the UK, um, or from Kentucky. I'm sorry, but he's a nice big for them as far as like depth on the bench. But the Max Sugar from VCU, I like him too. They're adding shooters. I see that's what Orlando's trying to do. So they're adding shooters to Paulo Banchero out there. He's the cornerstone piece for them, obviously. But yeah, no, I like Orlando's draft. I kind of like where the direction is they're headed. Um, Orlando, if they're good, it's a good city, a good fan base to be behind when they're good, obviously. They haven't really been good, in my opinion, since Penny Hardaway and Shaquille O'Neal days, which was a long time ago. But when that team was good, the fan base in the city is crazy down there. So um, looking bright for Orlando's future to compete in the East for sure. Definitely. And Dallas, you mentioned Dallas's roster with Cooper Cup. They're loaded.
Flag, Cooper Flag.
I mean, Cooper Flag. Yeah, I said
Up
Cooper Cup.
is the wide receiver.
Yeah.
Although I do think he could be a good basketball player. That's very possible.
Well, I don't know. We'll see. We'll have to look that up, see if he play ball. But yeah, no, Cooper Flag. Dallas's roster is loaded. What do you think of their chances as far as future wise?
Yeah, I mean, look, I never want to be too optimistic about a Dallas team. You're seeing it right now with the Wings. Paige Becker's number one overall pick has and good pieces on that team has not necessarily turned them around in an instant. It's a lot about
Hmm.
coaching and management as well as talent. And, you know, as far as management, a lot of people have issues still with the Luka trade, and Nico as GM. So it's not just talent. It is going to be decision making on, coaching staff on management as well. So
Hmm.
they do have a lot of good talent. I don't know if it automatically puts them in contention.
All right, well, this is their potential starting lineup. Obviously, Kyrie's hurt. He might not start the season, but they just picked up D'Angelo Russell, which was a big pickup as well. They probably expect him to come off the bench and be their sixth man. But they have Kyrie, Klay Thomas, then you have Cooper Flag at the three, Anthony Davis at the four, and Derek Lively the second at the five. That's a pretty decent five if you look at it. But I mean, the West is tough for sure. So I mean, Dallas needs that type of roster. If they stay healthy, they could
They
definitely
need to
compete.
they need to stay healthy, which not every guy on that list that you just named is healthy or has a history of
Yeah,
staying healthy.
Anthony Davis, Kyrie, for
But
sure.
it's a veteran roster with the
Hmm.
introduction of Flag now. You've got young talent. It's, looking similar to, the situation that Luca was put in, a young talent coming in, change the face of the team. Like, I just feel like they're back where they were, and I don't think the talent differential is that much better.
Yeah. Do you think it was the Dallas made the right move to get rid of Luca and start over, or do you think they should have kept Luca and then built around him?
I think Luca was going to get expensive, and like I just said, they've got now veteran players on this roster. I think they need to really focus on potentially a if this doesn't go well, a rebuild with a young
Yeah,
core.
yeah.
So I do think that they they mortgage their future a little bit, but it'll be interesting to see how the next year goes, year or two goes, and if they
Yeah.
do a full rebuild, it could be very possibly on the horizon for them.
Yeah, no, definitely. We're going to see for sure too with like you said, Cooper Flag, him being the possible future cornerstone. He's around a bunch of veteran, savvy guys that have been there, champions, which is going to help him tremendously um, as
If
far as
Prairie
experience.
back and team chemistry clicks, like this is a team you could see in the playoffs, but it really is going to come down to who's healthy, how do they build chemistry, what other moves is the front office making, um, and how much do they trust their teammates and their coaches.
Yeah, no, definitely, definitely for sure. Well, we're gonna see definitely next year in the next couple of years for sure. There's a lot of WNBA news out there
Oh my God.
going on. A lot of
Get into it.
WNBA.
Let's get
Let's
into
get
it.
into it. Let's get into it.
Is absolutely nuts this week.
Okay. Also, let's start off with the expansion.
Yes.
There's
Happy.
supposed to be there's three-team expansion going on. Where 2028 there will be a team in Cleveland, 2029 in Detroit, and 2030 in Philly.
Yes, and this is in addition to the previous expansion teams that are happening. We had this year we had the Golden State Valkyries. Next year we will be getting the Toronto Tempo, and then the following year, 27, we get the Portland team. So we have a new
Yeah,
team every year for the next 5 years.
5 years. Yeah, till 2030. Yeah,
And what the Valkyries have done as an expansion team is unprecedented. They are performing well, they're building team chemistry. I haven't agreed necessarily with every move that they have made, but it has worked for them. So
yeah,
I can hate on it all I want, and I can think some of the stuff that they have done is a little bit strange and wasn't necessarily where I thought and the direction that I thought they were going, but it's worked.
yeah,
And
yeah,
they're firing on all cylinders. It really does seem like Coach Nat was the secret sauce in Vegas because Vegas has been struggling, but the Valks have been absolutely unreal. So it's so exciting for this league because we talk all the time about either roster expansion or team expansion because we got to get more players in the league. There was a trade
Mhm.
this week where now the Vegas Aces they ended up waiving Liz Kitley, who is was a rookie last year but was hurt all
Yeah.
season with the ACL, and now she finally is back, but she wasn't getting a ton of minutes behind Asia Wilson, and so second year player really in her first year of playing gets waived by a team because they just don't have the space for her.
Mhm.
So this is definitely a needed thing. Um, Biggest fear right now is CBA negotiations are coming up, and you have all this team expansion in the works. So they are gonna need to get a deal done, and it's
Yeah,
gonna have to be a really good one because with all this expansion, player salaries also have to go up. Um,
which I think is going to happen for sure.
Better TV deals, and more money pouring into this
Hmm.
league. But as we're seeing with the Valkyries, they're a profitable organization. They have been so far through this point today profitable, which
Yeah,
also pretty unprecedented in the WNBA. So I love where this is going, but this all leads us into our next point, which is WNBA All-Star. And these WNBA players needing to really back the horse that has gotten them there. So
yeah.
we can talk about that. But how do you feel about the expansion as somebody who's just getting into the WNBA?
Well, I like it actually. I love it. I wish my city could have got a team actually, but that's another story. But
I mean, look,
uh,
these three teams, I think they're all in great spots, right? You look
yeah,
at
no,
with
definitely.
Detroit,
They're all
Philly,
NBA cities too.
they're NBA cities, and I do think that that's such a key piece of what's been so good for Golden State is you've got Steph Curry coming to games, you've got the support of the
Uh-huh.
NBA fans in that city. So bringing in three new teams where they're in NBA cities and can potentially share facilities, um, if you need to do that, and
Yeah,
like we've seen with the Fever sharing Gainbridge Fieldhouse with the Pacers, that's been so
yeah,
good for Indiana.
yeah, because they support each other
And they've
crazy.
been so supportive of each other. I could actually see them taking that route with a few of these teams.
hmm I think it's going to happen for sure. You're definitely going to see the support, like like I said, with the Cleveland team, you'll get the Cavs going to those games supporting, along with the Sixers, along with the Pistons. Those teams will definitely be supporting whatever team comes there. Like I said, I like it though. It's like I said, we talked about it. It needs to grow. It needs to expand. That way, we can get more players on more teams since the rosters aren't, what they should be. But like I said, it's great. The WNBA is growing. The money's growing. The Valkyries are actually worth around like 500 million, I want to say, and that's like the first time ever for a women's pro team that has happened. So I mean, it's growing like crazy. So like you said, the money's going to definitely go up for these ladies, which is well deserved as well. I know there was a few players having conversations about that, but no, I love it. And then, like you said, it just makes sense for them to do it in the NBA cities. That way, it can just be like cross support for those teams, and as far as facilities or whatever's needed. So it just makes it easier. Definitely, I like where it's going. Um, and then it's going to start making things better too, because like I said, more players will get on teams, and the competition is even going to be even crazier here in the next 5 years, for sure. I can imagine like Caitlin Clark in her prime 5 years from now, and who knows what other players will be in the league by then. So it's going to be great for sure. It's moving on up, as they say.
Yeah,
As far as that goes.
absolutely. So let's talk about All-Star. WNBA All-Star is coming up, and the WNBA released some of the starters for 2025 WNBA All-Star. Now, the way that the All-Star selections are made is the top 10 All-Star vote getters are determined by 50% fan voting, 25% current player voting, and 25% media voting. They're automatically named as starters to the All-Star game.
Yeah.
The top two vote getters are named captains, which this year's captains are Nafisa Collier from the Minnesota
Starter.
Lynx and
Mm-hmm.
Caitlin Clark. They
Yep.
received the two most fan votes. Caitlin Clark received the most votes by a lot, let's just say. I don't know exactly.
Yeah. A landslide.
It was a landslide. Now, what is super interesting is the player voting came out, and on the player voting, Caitlin Clark was ranked as the ninth best guard as her rank. So, what I want to make super clear, there are not rankings on the ballot.
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
Select four guards. Four. You select four guards to put on your ballot as a player.
Mhm.
Enough players in the WNBA had to keep her off their player ballots for her to drop to nine. Message received, you're icing her out. Got it.
Yeah.
Not every player in the WNBA hates Caitlin Clark, but enough
But
of them.
some do. Yeah. A few of them do. Crazy.
I just, we just talked about all this expansion, right? And all these great things that are happening for the WNBA. I'm
Hmm.
sorry, guys. I'm sorry that Caitlin Clark is the one that did it for you. I'm so sorry. Grow up. Grow up and enjoy it. It's
Yeah, I mean, it comes
so
with
bad
being the
at this
top
point.
dog. It definitely comes with being the top dog. Like it's kind of like she's starting to. Caitlin Clark's like the LeBron of the WNBA. Is starting to seem like.
But the WNBA can't afford that right now. Right now, you have to hype her up, whether you like her or not. You don't have to like her. You don't. But you
Hmm.
have to boost her up because she is your ratings. Your CBA negotiations are coming up. You've got all this expansion coming up. You finally have a team that's profitable. And
But it's
say
just the player hate though.
profitable team that's profitable has Kate Martin on it. And where did Kate Martin play? Iowa with Caitlin Clark. So
Yeah.
I just, it's getting to a point to me where it's like you're actively trying to self-destruct. Why?
Well, it's. I'll tell you why. It's just some player hate, and that's all it is.
Jealousy.
It happened.
It's jealousy.
Yes, that's exactly what it is. It happened with MJ, happened with LeBron. It happens with all the good ones.
Right, but
And,
the NBA is a profitable league. The WNBA has never been a profitable league, and now
yeah,
you are.
now
How?
you,
How are you? You can't treat her like that. You can't treat her like a MJ. You can't treat her like LeBron. You can't because you can't afford to.
yeah, no, I mean I get where you're coming from 100%. I get it, but it's just the play. You see how it is. That's why she's getting all the extra fouls. It's been a lot of back and forth this year as far as the physicality goes on her. Players don't like her. They're jealous. Same thing with LeBron. His players on his own team didn't like him when he first came to Cleveland because they felt like some high school kid couldn't be the savior of a franchise. So I mean, it just comes with the territory when you're that one, and she's that one. And like you said, it should doesn't make sense. They should be not hating on her and letting her do her thing so it can continue to grow because she's definitely one of the reasons why it is growing and why their checks are going to be growing as well. So I definitely get where you're coming from 100%, but it's just the player hate. It's all it's always some hater out there. There's
I
always a
know,
hater in the
I know,
crowd.
I know. It just is so frustrating because we're seeing so much great things happening for the league right now. And people who are intelligent and can look at the numbers can understand and attribute that in large majority to Caitlin Clark, right? And
Hmm.
so to see the way that she's being, treated is just, it's so shady. But I want to move on from that. I want to give a quick shout out to a couple of people who were also named to this roster. Paige Becker's the only rookie in 2025 to be named an All-Star starter. Um,
Congrats.
Again, congratulations to her. Again, it's your young players who are coming in who are receiving these fan votes. She had a ton of fan votes. And as did Aaliyah Boston, again, another younger player in this league.
My girl.
So
Yep.
it's just it's your young players that are building you up. But as
Yeah.
for the veteran players, shout out Nneka Ogwumike of the Seattle Storm. She joins WNBA greats this year. She joins Sue Bird, Tamika Catchings, Brittany Griner, and Diana Taurasi as the only players in league history with at least 10 WNBA All-Star selections. So
Congratulations. Yes.
congratulations to her because
Yes, definitely.
she deserves it. And
Definitely.
your veteran players are also amazing. I don't want to take away from them. I'm just saying right now, the audience, they're tuning in to see the young guns. And
Yeah.
you got to just get behind and back that.
No, definitely for sure. Like you said, you got the veteran goods on there. Asia, Brianna. Those. Cornerstone pieces of the league as well, faces of the league as well. But like you said, the fans they're wanting to see the young guns and potential new faces of the league. So definitely, congratulations to all those ladies who are named starters for sure, 100%.
And then
Um,
I got one or two more WNBA things that I think I'd love your opinion on. So
okay,
The Dallas Wings, which Paige Beckers is on right now, they are struggling. They've been struggling. They traded their forward Nylissa Smith to the Las Vegas Aces for draft pick. Super interesting. She's been a starter for them.
Hmm.
Now there's a lot of discourse about Nylissa Smith and her not living up to the hype of her number one overall pick a couple of years ago, but she has been a pretty key piece for Dallas.
Yeah.
The other notable thing is the another player on the Dallas Wings, Dejanay Carrington, and Nylissa Smith are dating. They are together. And when one of them was traded to Dallas, the other signed to Dallas. So they chose to go there together,
Go there. Yeah, together.
and
Yeah.
they were allegedly uninformed about this trade that happened yesterday. And
Ah.
were shocked, heartbroken, um, disgruntled, if you will.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Super interesting and definitely a WNBA commonality is players do sometimes date each other, which you don't necessarily see in the NBA or the NFL. But what
Yeah.
do you
Yeah.
think about something like that where, you got a couple that decides to put themselves in the same place finally, and then you just kind of trade one of them away?
I mean, I understand why they did it. Obviously, they're a couple. So when one got traded there and one signed, I totally understand that logic. For them not to know that it was going to happen, neither of them knew, right? It just happened, right?
Yeah, they are claiming that they were blindsided by this
Oh, okay.
trade.
So,
So,
well, well, yeah. So neither of them knowing, and then boom, they both just find out. Oh, one of them leaving. It'll be difficult, but it's part of the business. They know that the possibilities were there that could happen. So, yeah, they probably aren't happy because they won't see a lot of each other anymore and stuff like that. But so that'll suck for them. But everything else, they know. They probably knew, like yeah, it's part of business. But I'm sure it's
yeah,
probably
it
tough.
definitely is, but I mean, it is a pretty shocking trade because like I said, they're both starters for this Dallas Wings team. Uh,
Yeah.
and I don't think they got a ton of value out of it. And trading Nyla to Vegas, where she's gonna have to play behind Asia Wilson, doesn't really make sense. It
Hmm.
just it none of it really added up. So I do feel like maybe there's something else going on there, but
Yeah, maybe they wanted to separate them. Maybe they're like, we need better play out of you. We got to split this up in order for.
yeah. I don't
But
know. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. But it was definitely an interesting one. It was a little bit
yeah, that's
dramatic.
definitely interesting, like you said, because like you said, the dating definitely does go on in the league. So, but being on the same team is definitely crazy. But you have to know that, and I'm pretty sure they had those conversations. As a couple, you would have to have those conversations of
Yeah.
possibly one of us leaving. And what we have to do as far as planning and stuff like that. So,
They've
but definitely,
definitely done it before. I mean, there was, Dejanay was on the Connecticut Sun and Nylissa Smith was on the Indiana Fever a year ago. So they know what this is like. I think this is the first time that they were playing in the same place. So they knew
yeah.
how to do it. It was
But
probably
just the pop up and them not knowing, or even I wonder how they found out about the trade, because some people find out from ESPN.
from the internet. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
But now,
So
and I literally just got this notification maybe 20 minutes ago while we were talking. Looks like the Washington Mystics are engaged in trade conversations to find Aaliyah Edwards, second year forward from UConn, a new home. She was the sixth overall pick last year in 2024's WNBA draft. And she's been seeing her minutes kind of take a decline this year because the Mystics have a very crowded front court. They have Kiki Irifen, Shakira Austin, Stephanie Dolson. So
uh-huh.
they're exploring a trade with her now. Could she go to Dallas and reunite with Paige Beckers? Could Dallas have known that this was coming?
Coming, and maybe that's why they made the trade to make some room. Yeah, you
Edwards
never
is
know.
still on her rookie contract. She's second year player.
Hmm.
Smith is a veteran at this point. Could they have been clearing up some space?
You might be onto something. Next week we might be talking about this, where if they
Let's see.
pick her up.
I mean, she former All-American at UConn, a two-time Olympian with the Canadian national team, and young, young player, a lot of talent, and
Uh,
her and Paige already have the chemistry.
Chemistry, yeah. Maybe that's yeah. No, you could be onto something there, Tony, for sure. You
Be
definitely could be
interesting to
onto
see where
something.
she goes if they do end up trading her. But I like the Mystics. I think are making a good decision here. They've got young talent with Shakira Austin, Kiki Irifin, and Aaliyah Edwards. So taking a one of them and making a high value trade could be
Hmm.
for the Mystics as they continue their I don't know if I call it a rebuild. A rebuild as they continue
Yeah,
to
yeah,
rebuild. They got a ton of young players now, and
yeah.
yeah,
They're nice though.
that's
They got some nice pieces for the future for sure. Yeah.
Sonia Zitron. I love my girl Emily Engstler.
Uh-huh.
Oh,
Yeah.
we got
No,
good people.
definitely. You might be onto something, Tony, for sure. You might have caught it. You might have just caught it if they pick her up. Dallas picks her up for sure.
We'll see.
Yeah, no, definitely we'll see. There was a jersey retired this weekend or this week as well, in the WNBA. Candace Parker, longtime WNBA player, got her jersey retired for the LA Sparks. Uh, what's your take on that? And what's your take on Candace as well?
Yeah, I mean, an absolute congratulations, deserved. Candace Parker is, one of the goats of women's basketball.
Yeah, definitely.
Was so influential to the league, is still influential to the league. And, I can't say enough good things about her. So I'm just, anytime she gets her flowers, I'm right there cheering her on and loving every second of it. So,
Yeah. Yeah, no, definitely. Shout out to her getting her numbers put up in the Raptors. That's a pretty big thing for real. Especially with that growing organization, the WNBA. Like I said, Candace Parker, she was a beast. We know what she did in college at Tennessee. You know, All American there. Player of the year, obviously. Same thing in the WNBA. She was the only player to win Rookie of the Year and MVP in the same season. Still the only player to ever do that, whether it's NBA or WNBA. No player has ever done that. So I mean, she's a baller, a big girl with game, could move like a guard, dribble like a guard, shoot inside, outside. She had all around game. Great player. Now she does commentating with couple NBA players, Shaq and those guys in the NBA. So no, shout out to her. She's doing her thing. She got her numbers put up in the rafters. So yeah, definitely special moment for her. Hall of Famer, obviously, and WNBA legend for sure. So congrats to Candace for sure on that.
yes.
Definitely. But yeah,
Mm,
you got anything else from the WNBA
Not from the
before?
WNBA, but I just got a little notification from Fox Sports. Looks like the Bucks are waiving Damian Lillard and
What?
signing Miles Turner from the Pacers.
Wow. Okay, so they're waiving Damian Lillard, who was injury riddled the whole time he was there, pretty much in Milwaukee. Didn't play like he did in Portland, obviously. Miles Turner, big loss for the Pacers,
Yeah.
for sure. But big get for them, as they look to add some big man pieces, not knowing if Giannis is going to be there, obviously, if he's going to leave. They're going to have to add some depth at the big man, which they definitely did with Miles Turner. So, uh, no, shout out to Milwaukee for that. Hate to see that for Damian Lillard. Wonder where he'll end up going, or if it's over for him or not.
Yeah, I
So
don't know. There, yeah. And then the Thunder extended SGA 4 years, 285 million.
Max deal, I'm sure. Yeah, no.
Deserved
280,
MVP season, extending their guy.
285 million, you said?
285.
Okay.
Yeah,
4 years?
4 years.
Okay. Shout out to SGA, well deserved. MVP, finals MVP. So yeah, no, that's definitely big news. I'm curious to see with Damian Lillard's future for sure, where he's gonna go. I know he had the big injury, but curious to see where he'll go, where he'll end up. But I don't know. We'll see. But on that note, we appreciate you guys for listening in to the He Said, She Said Sports Talk podcast. We are your hosts. I'm Big Red and Tony. As always, we appreciate you guys always. And as always, it is love and peace.